Once upon a time, I was in my yard, trimming bushes. When suddenly, my phone buzzed. I pulled out my phone, and it was a text from my brother. He said, "How do I tell a story, brother?" So I put down the trimmer by my leg, and I replied to my brother, "I'll tell you, brother." So I thought I'd make a video about it. But first, story time. Once, there was a man named John. John was a smart computer engineer. He loved thinking about logical constructs and, the sorts of things computer engineers think about. He liked asking existential questions. He also liked to get into philosophical arguments with coworkers. Both real and artificial.
The sexiest thing in the entire world is being really smart.
John knew the important thing in life is what's on the inside. So I'm going to be going over the 3-act structure. What I'm doing here is Act 1. Setting things up in Act 1 will provide the context needed for the conflict to later come into your character's life. But back to John. John was an internally focused computer engineer. This way of life was almost an ideology for him. So much so that he never even took the time to enjoy the simplest of pleasures. That's why John didn't like to spend much time taking care of his property, shrubs, lawn, etc. It just felt like a waste of time. So now might be a good time to define what a story even is. A story is a verbal narration of a set of facts or incidents. I just looked up that definition in the dictionary. Not to get platonic, but it's really hard to tell if you've got a story if there isn't some essence in the sky of story. What is a story? It's bright. The sun is bright. Sheesh. So a story has to have a central conflict. The main character has to overcome some challenges as part of that central conflict. So with John, we've just done the setup. So something very interesting happens right here. The character's entire static state, which was described over here, is brought into question. The whole setting has to be disrupted. That point of disruption is called the inciting incident. So, what's the inciting incident for our character John? John got married. John's wife was different from John. John felt the need to be using his mind, whereas she seemed to enjoy the present moment with the 5 senses. But maintaining his physical possessions was John's least favorite thing to do. Coffee. After John noticed how much his wife enjoyed tasting things, he realized that he needed to be more like that. Enjoy the moment, you know? So he got into coffee. All this coffee gave John an idea. If he could make more money through building online businesses, he could avoid having to spend all that time on random household tasks. He could just pay for someone else to do it. So, John decided to work hard on building a business to avoid trimming the shrubs. John tried making YouTube videos.
Be sure to subscribe.
John tried making a software business. Then, John tried making an online bookstore. But then, one fateful day, John became a dad. And his efforts of getting out of yard work would soon become even more challenging.
This is the part of the story where you're throwing more and more complications at the main character. We're in the midst of Act 2, approaching the climax, where the main character's attempts at fixing his problems come crashing down because he hasn't yet changed to embrace the philosophically new way of life.
Today was the day that John was going to launch his app. He worked hard, but honestly, he came to really dislike coding through this whole process. But unfortunately, for the past 3 months, he got almost no interest in his software product. And sure enough, on launch day, there were only 6 trial signups. After having a handful of books up on his site, he realized why Amazon is the leader in online book selling. They can just do it better. His revenue was $6 from the one book he ordered himself. Plus, he never really wanted to run a bookstore. He was just doing it for the extra cash.
What is story? Is there some essence of story?
I'm in a story. There is an ultimate story, and every human on planet Earth is a character in this huge story.
So I think I know what a story is. A story is an imitation of the great story that we're all a part of. That makes me a character in the story. And the role I play is a dad who needs to get some chores done. So that's how you tell a story. Now, go live like the hero.